This has got to be one of the weirdest, most drama-filled off seasons I can remember for the Ravens. And I know Ben Cleveland is technically an unrestricted free agent. I just dropped, literally like an hour ago, dropped a free agency off-season prediction video where I go through every single free agent, every single extension candidate. So go check that out. Ben Cleveland is a free agent. He's not on the Ravens, but what a weird offseason, man. Ben Cleveland is arrested for a DUI. I guess this happened last week, but TMZ just got a hold of it and put it out. He was pulled over around 10:25 p.m. He'd been swerving in a roadway. Cops wrote that Cleveland was actually driving so erratically, he nearly steered his black Ford F-250 into a ditch. During the stop, authorities said Cleveland admitted to drinking approximately 3 to 4 beers at a nearby country club before getting behind the wheel. They also wrote in the report his eyes were glossy, he had an odor of booze. Docs state Cleveland failed at least one field sobriety test, and he ended up blowing a .178, more than double the legal limit of .08. Listen, DUIs happen. It's obviously not something you should do, drink and drive. We all know that, but it does happen. A lot of people drink and drive. I'm not saying that Ben Cleveland's some like awful person for doing this, but it just adds to this insane offseason the Ravens are kind of already having, and it's super early. Hopefully this all chills out. We got the Tucker stuff still looming as well. Hopefully everything kind of gets resolved and we can just move on. The offseason's long. There's a lot of positive stuff ahead, but what a weird start, man. And awful timing for Ben Cleveland too, because like I mentioned at the start of this video, he is an unrestricted free agent. He has not been getting a lot of playing time on Baltimore, so bad timing for you to go out there and sell yourself to another team to try and get another deal. You don't have a lot of film. You didn't get a lot of chance on the Ravens, probably due to Harbaugh or whatever was going on behind the scenes. But Ben Cleveland seems like he never got really a fair shake. He definitely didn't get much playing time in the games. And now you have a DUI, TMZ's blasting you, and free agency's in 3 weeks. Not like Ben Cleveland was going to probably get a big deal and be, one of the guys that signed as soon as free agency started, but this can't help. This definitely can't help, and it just adds to this weird offseason. I can't explain why it seems like it's crumbling, but I definitely want to stay positive. It's not like Ben Cleveland was coming back on the Ravens, so from a Ravens standpoint, they're pretty separated from this. I don't think he was going to re-sign here anyway. So this is kind of just a Ben Cleveland thing. I don't really think this has much to do with the Ravens, but he was on the Ravens. We drafted him, and I would assume this 100% marks the end of Ben Cleveland in a Ravens uniform. Honestly, without the DUI, it was already over, in my opinion. Once he hit free agency, we're not re-signing him. But this was a bad mistake at the worst time, and I kind of feel for him. I'm not promoting drinking and driving by any means. Obviously, no one should do that. You put a lot of other people's lives in danger. But if Ben Cleveland was having some drinks at the country club, he probably thought he was good. He obviously drank way too much. That big guy did not drink 3 or 4 beers and blow a .178, man. There's no way. He probably downed about 10, or he had 3 or 4 beers with some shots or something. There was definitely more than 3 or 4 beers. He's a huge guy, 300 plus pounds. He is not, 3 or 4 beers is not going to have him double the legal limit. And I would imagine he can put some beers away. So he probably was at the country club having a great time, drinking a lot, and then made a bad decision to drive home, was swerving all over the road, and got arrested for a DUI. So, yeah, weird start, man. Weird start to the Ravens free agency. Hopefully Ben does land somewhere else. I don't want this DUI to restrict him from playing with another team. I do want him to get another chance. I think he will at some point in free agency. Like I said, I don't think it'll be the start of free agency. I don't think he was ever a big ticket name anyway. But hopefully he does get a chance to at least compete on another roster. I don't want this to spell the end of Ben Cleveland's NFL career. I think that he does have potential. He's not an old player. If he could just find a new spot, maybe a coach that is willing to give him a fair shake, and he could kind of come a little bit more driven than he was in Baltimore, I guess, or committed, or maybe he was just dogged house. I don't know. But reading between the lines, his whole history with Harbaugh, it seems like he was never kind of like a workhorse in practice. Harbaugh always was like, Ben knows what he needs to do to get out on the field. And I just take from that Harbaugh didn't like the way he practiced. And once he saw that for a year or two, he kind of just did shelve him and put him in the doghouse. And Ben Cleveland definitely did not get a fair shake in Baltimore. So I am hoping that this DUI doesn't end Ben Cleveland's NFL career. I do think he deserves at least a chance. I'm not saying he should go be a starter somewhere or anything like that, but hopefully a team picks him up and at least he can compete. And hopefully the Ravens can get out of the news and have a smooth offseason. I didn't make a video on the Tucker situation yesterday, but more information did come out about Justin Tucker. I'm sure you guys have heard. I think there were 7 more women that came out. And we're up to 16 women now from 8 different spas that are all accusing Tucker of doing some inappropriate stuff. And yeah, it's piling up. And it is all from the Baltimore Banner. They're the only ones that have wrote this story or confirmed these sources. I know the NFL's looking into it. They asked Roger Goodell about it at the Super Bowl. He says that they're terrible allegations and they're looking into it. I'm sure the Ravens are. I don't really know why they haven't said anything. I think that's my biggest problem with the Ravens is like, make a statement. Just say you're looking into it. Just say, hey, we're aware. I think they did put a statement out kind of through Jeff Zrebiec, or he asked somebody in the building and they put out one through him because he said a Ravens source said that they're aware of the allegations and are looking into it. But the Ravens haven't put out any type of official statement. And this isn't the end of these Justin Tucker allegations, man. Whatever you want to believe about it or not, this is going to keep piling up. And something's going to have to happen. There's going to be some kind of resolution. Brian McFarland did break down the cap situation. He said if Tucker is cut, he expects him to be cut with a post-June 1st designation in order to split up the dead money between 2025, 2026. But per the CBA, a post-June 1st designation cannot be used till after the start of the league year on March 12th, but they can announce it before that. So they could announce that he's being released today. If Tucker was cut now, there would be $7.5 million in dead money on the 2025 cap, which is $445,000 more than he presently counts. By using the post-June 1st designation, they split that 7.5 up between 2025, 2026, and would receive $4.2 million in cap space on June 2nd. But again, that cannot happen until March 12th. March 12th is the start of the new league year. So essentially, if and when the Ravens do move on from Justin Tucker, it's not going to clear a lot of cap for free agency. Now, it could clear $4.5 million after free agency starts. So, maybe used later in free agency, but the Ravens are going to have to clear cap before that. Free agency starts in 3 weeks. We have less than $6 million. We have a ton of free agents and would probably like to sign someone else. So these next 3 weeks are going to be jam-packed with possible extensions or restructures. They're going to have to clear money, man. There's no way that we walk into free agency as we currently are because we're not signing anybody. We don't even have enough money to sign our draft picks that we're going to draft. So there's going to be a lot of moves coming up in these next 3 weeks. And I really just can't wait to move past all this and have a normal offseason. It's been the weirdest start to an offseason. If the Ravens are going to cut Justin Tucker, then cut him. Nobody ever thought this is how Justin Tucker would end his career as a Raven. I mean, it is terrible, man. It is a shame. But it is what it is. If this happened, he's got to go. And the Ravens got to cut him, and we got to move on from this drama so we can just focus on free agency and who we're bringing back, who we're going to go after. You don't want all this news lingering, man. It's all negativity, man. I don't want negativity following this team throughout this offseason. We already went out kind of ugly in Buffalo. Lamar Jackson gets robbed of the MVP. Terrell Suggs and Marshall Yanda don't make the Hall of Fame. Justin Tucker allegations flying left and right. I know Ben Cleveland's not on the team, but he's getting arrested. It's just, where's the positivity? We need an injection of positivity into this fan base, into this team, And I think we'll be all right once we move past this. It's not like we got a bad team. It's not like we're not headed in a really good direction. You know, we're going to have an elite team again next year. And we need to focus on building these trenches up in this offseason. And I think this Ravens team will be as strong as ever. I love the coaching moves. I think we've bolstered our coaching staff and made great hires. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about this roster. There's no reason not to be excited about this roster. This Ravens team is going to be great, man. And we're going to enjoy this season. But it has been a very rocky last month. And I can't wait to kind of just move past this. But yeah, wanted to come on here. I didn't talk about the Tucker stuff. I saw a lot of people talking about it. I didn't feel like it was a lot of new information because it's still coming from the Baltimore Banner. And at the end of the day, Tucker's saying they're lying. They're probably not lying. I mean, that is a crazy thing to just make up. But we've only heard from the Baltimore Banner. So, yeah, there was a bunch of new allegations, but I was like, man, what am I going to really add value and talk about this with you guys? So I didn't really make a video on it, so I kind of made it with this one, I guess. But saw this Ben Cleveland arrested for a DUI news, and I was like, all right, let's just freaking talk about what's going on right now. But I'm praying this negativity stops. I'm praying that we have a smooth offseason and can just focus on football, man. I want to focus on football. I don't want to talk about this drama. And I just made that full free agency prediction video. Please go watch that. Show some love. It's a little bit longer, but I went through every single 2025 free agent and then also extension and cut candidates and talk briefly about each person. So I've never made a video like that. Let me know what you guys are thinking about everything. Keep it positive. We're going to be all right, man. We're going to be all right. Brighter days are right around the corner. I know it. But I appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The Flock Rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.